So I just made a video that I'm in the process of uploading when it comes to bringing innovations for the triaging process at healthcare facilities. I was just thinking uh, the X Prize Qualcomm Tricorder Prize, which looks eerily similar to the tricorder from the original Star Trek series. I'm kind of on season 6 of Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I have seen some of it. I can't remember if I've seen all 6 or I don't. I think there are 8 seasons. When I was a kid, I've seen slices of the different Star Trek. Anyway, so the way it's being envisioned right now, the Qualcomm X-Prize tricorder looks pretty similar to the ones that Gates McFadden used to use in the Next Generation. And I was just thinking, because I just made this video about the triage process. I was thinking a lot of what happens at the healthcare facility from the perspective of using medical equipment, hardware, software, sensors, networks, and humans operating the machinery is really logic. So, 20 years out, we could put a hospital in every house. And this, it's kind of difficult to envision what the world is going to be like in 20 years. I think a couple of technologies in the domains of genetics, computation in general as well, with AI as a subset. A lot of these developments are it's difficult to predict how the world will change as these technologies mature and go mainstream. So perhaps not 20 years out, maybe 10 years out. I think it's theoretically possible, contingent on the fact that computation can be provided to more people for a very cheap amount of energy. So we're talking about energy, the breakthroughs in energy and breakthroughs in computation. But I don't think it's not possible. I think it's very possible to put a hospital in every house. So going back to the comment I just made, that everything that happens at a healthcare facility is just a combination of the variety of software, hardware, sensors, everything, logic really being made use of by human operators, and human operators make the diagnosis and everything. And Watson can actually make a diagnosis way better, which is another conversation, but a healthcare facility could be made available in every single house. So imagine if there was a robot, not bigger than, I don't know, I don't know what the salt shaker maybe, could actually be much smaller than that. You could make super small machines that can do scans. They can take blood work. They can perhaps even measure blood pressure through a variety of different means. They could take your DNA. I don't know if they're going to be able to sequence it there, but maybe they can, send it to some kind of a, take a little DNA sample and, send it to the drone, and the drone collects all of these and sends it to a facility where the DNA is sequenced. It goes energy breakthroughs powering advanced computation systems. It's really all computation. And healthcare in that respect would become proactive versus seems like it's very reactive nowadays. So I should stop doing this because I realize every time I flip it, it makes a sound when I'm recording it. So I apologize for that. That was the previous video I made. But yeah, you can put like an entire healthcare facility on a very small construct, which would measure how the person's doing on a day-to-day basis. And it's not just related to the physical condition of that individual. You can have it monitor a lot more. Privacy considerations require some more thought. Um, but yeah, imagine if your blood work is done every month, and your glucose, your cholesterol, red blood count, white blood count, and a whole bunch of other factors that can be determined by taking and running testing on your blood work is done automatically. Same with the stool samples, same with, like I mentioned, uh, you know, perhaps sequencing, urine sample, scans. Like maybe a device could like just, like uh, you just lie down on your bed or something, and it comes up, and it could be a robot, and it just does some kind of scan over you. I don't know if that's going to be possible. I don't know how fMRI machines work, and I don't know if the scans are going to be non-destructive. But if that's possible, then you've got these advanced machinery scanning you for all sorts of different ailments, like catching tumors super early when it comes to their development. And then you show up in a healthcare facility, um, which in this particular case, in case of the tumors, you would then have nanobots going in and choking the blood supply of those tumors, which is like this is a clinical trials I know that are being held for this very technology right now, because my aunt has cancer, and I was looking into this last year, and that's just one example. Uh, but yeah, imagine like if you have uh, you can put the entire hospital on a very small construct, and the hospital comes to you, and the hospital's uh, proactive in measuring your health on a real-time basis. Uh, the words of Craig Venter comes to my mind, that we have the technology but not the wisdom uh, today, something along those lines. And the other question is how to enable a world of abundance. I think there are technologies that exist that can allow life to be extended from 65, 75 to perhaps 100 or even more. But we've got to factor in, well, if everyone lives up to be 100, then what does it do to every other system on the earth? So again, abundance. We need to think about this more in order to be able to leverage technologies to help ensure that the world of abundance can be manifested in a balanced way without disrupting the natural ecosystems, so that everyone benefits and can gain from the technological curve. I do believe computation systems are a core part of these developments, and that's one of my personal goals, is to help bring about cycles of innovation when it comes to the computation systems of the future. And I don't just mean laptop and PC and desktops and tablets and wearables. You have to look at the technological curve in a Kurzweilian sense, and then anticipate which set of technologies are about to mature on a 2, 4, 8, however you want to time those cycles, and then ascertain how computational resources will be made more available, how more computational resources will be made available for more people. Coming back to this video, I think it is theoretically possible. I think it's very possible to put an entire healthcare facility on a chip, and then those chips go into every house. So then every house is equipped with a hospital, and then the purpose of the healthcare facility would be for individuals to walk in, for them to be simply treated, because all the analysis has been done before. So how that vision would manifest itself is that individuals would walk into the facility so that their tumors can be treated in a very early stage, so that the cells have not metastasized. I can never say that word, metastasized to like stage 1, 2, 3 of cancers, like caught way before, so that other physical ailments have not developed, so that there's considerable level of pain or suffering in somebody's life. So whether it be kidney stones, whether it be development of plaque, which causes strokes, heart failures, a whole bunch of other issues. There's not infinite, but there's a huge number of problems when it relates to physical symptoms, which start small and grow over time. And you can catch a lot of these problems earlier on by putting a hospital in every house. This is not really as crazy of an idea, because if you look at the tricorder, which was science fiction up until Star Trek Next Generation is like late 80s, early 90s. I think around that time frame. So it's only take 2 or 3 decades, to actually less than less than 3 decades for that to become science fact. And as in the tricorder, like Gates, McFadden again, scanning Geordie or anyone, looking for a whole variety of different, like a gazillion number of tests this device could conduct. And she could figure out the person's neurochemistry, what's going on in their brain, if you really pay attention in Star Trek, you can realize this show was really well researched. They're talking about some really interesting stuff at that time. But yeah, all these tests were being done by the tricorder super quickly, and the tricorder is almost ready. This is from what I'm reading on the Qualcomm Tricorder's X Prize page. They're going to announce a winner in the summer, Q2 27. So what I'm saying is, what if the tricorder could be shrunk even more? And then when it's shrunk even more, then all the operations, logic operations that are actually performed at a healthcare facility, some significant percentage of those logic structures would go in this miniaturized device, which would then be made available in every house. With subsequent breakthroughs in computation, all of those tests could be conducted that much more efficiently. I gotta minimize my screen because the Qualcomm page is scrolling automatically the images. But yeah, you could put the healthcare facility in every house, and people will show up at the. Sorry, you could put all the logic structures in this tiny construct, and people will actually show up at the healthcare facility for any kind of ailment that they may be suffering from, physical, cognitive, what else is there? Psychological and cognitive is the same. Perhaps a genetic problem of sorts, that's a different realm of thoughts with some of the changes that are happening, or some sub-constructs of genetics and how they're evolving. That has more to do with ancestral simulations and having a backup of the real world, whereas your information would be backed up in a way that is in a way that you've identified. I haven't thought about that too much. I have thought about this a little bit from the perspective backup of your cognitive state with the introduction of mind files and how I believe they will usher in a Martine Rothblatt kind of a sense. She's written a book about it called Virtually Human. It's a good question because I don't think this use case is discussed too much in the, or well, that is kind of sort of the title of the book, Virtually Human. You have these mind files which are backed up. But it's a good question. Like if somebody alters your memories and you don't have a backup, then something to think about. So I'm not thinking about those ream of thoughts in this video. I'm just thinking of placing an actual healthcare facility in every house that does all these tests proactively so that a lot of the disease never really manifests or evolve or de-evolve to a state where they become problems, and healthcare in that respect becomes proactive. So after making the other video about the triage process, this thought just hit me that this is so possible. Everything's getting miniaturized, more computation is available, so let's put it to some good use. Just an idea, I thought I'd document it. Thanks.